Hello, everyone. It's Kathy with Paper Phenomenon. I have a few things to go over. You can cut this project two ways, one with cardstock and one with manila folders, file folders. And I want to go over the file folder with you guys because it's not clear cut. All right, no pun intended. Let's all get over to the workspace and let me show you what I got.
If you look at your cutting guide, and I was going to write this on a cutting guide, but I was like, this is going to be too confusing. So if you want to use file folders, you must watch this video. Okay, if you're using cardstock, just follow your cutting guide, cut and label, and you are good to go. So for your manila file folders, first of all, I'd like to say that I use legal size file folders. They're longer than the regular letter size file folders. However, you can absolutely use a letter size file folder for this. The first thing you want to do is cut a teeny tiny sliver off the edge to make two parts, or you can just do this. One or the other. But you want to work with two parts, all right, for the exception for one letter, and I will let you know. Okay, so for A, when you look at your cutting guide, the tab is not included in the measurement. So you're going to cut from straight edge to straight edge. So the tab is additional. Okay, so do not include the tab in your measurement. This area here is your measurement. The tab is extra. Okay, for B, do not include the tab in your measurement. All right, the tab is extra. Your measurement is from here to here. Okay, B is your binding pocket, so that's going to go like this. Okay, and we'll go over that when we assemble. So that's going to look like that on the back if you're using file folders. Okay, for C, no tab at all. All right, no tab for C. Straight edge all the way around. For D, no tab at all. Okay, straight edge all the way around. For D1, tab is not included in your measurement. So the tab is, this is your measurement right here from here to here. Tab is not included, all right? So tab is extra. So you're going to measure from straight edge to straight edge, not from tab to straight edge. For E, no tab, please, straight edge all the way around. E1, tab is not included in the measurement. You measure from straight edge to straight edge. So this is the measurement we're working with here. The tab is just a bonus, okay? For F, I get a little confused, so I have to measure out. For F. Tab is included in your measurement, okay? So for F, you're measuring from the tab to the straight edge, okay? See how that could have gotten confusing in the cutting guide? So for F, the tab is included in your measurement. You're measuring from here to here, not from here to here, okay? For G, you are not going to separate the file. Okay, do not separate the file folder. Because I want the tab. All right. If you're gonna if you want a straight edge, then you could separate the file folder. So what I want you to cut is your first measurement should be your width. Okay, so cut here, and then let me demo. It's easier for me to demo. Okay, so I cut my first measurement, which is my width, right? Which usually we cut the length first, right? In your F, you see the length. First, cut the width. So you cut the width. This is it right here. Then you're going to open the file folder, and you're going to cut the length here, okay? So this fold will be in your cut. So I'm measuring my length now, and I'm cutting. Tab is included in the measurement, okay? Uh-oh, I screwed up, shoot. I hate to waste another file folder, but this is a big measurement, I'll live. Okay, hang on, guys. All right, so for F, we cut the width first, right? We established that. Now we cut the length. The tab is included in your length, okay? Tab is included in your length. So for F, again, the tab is included in the length, so you're going to measure from here to here, all right? That's the measurement in your cutting guide. Now, when you score, you're going to see, here's my score lines. The inks are my score line. You're going to see that the fold from the natural fold from the file folder is there, right? Don't worry about that. When we mat, that will disappear, all right? So it's going to look like you have an 1/8 inch gusset, a 1/2 inch gusset, and then the binding strip, okay? So just ignore the gusset, ignore that extra, ignore the natural fold on the file folder and just focus on your score lines, okay? Let me put that somewhere else because I'll get confused. So that's G. And then we're going to go back to things that have gussets in them, okay? And then for H, let me just make sure for H, tab is not included in the cut. You're cutting from here to here, okay? The tab is a bonus. For, H1, tab is included in the measurement, okay? So from here to here is your measurement for H1, all right? Tab is included in the measurement. So you're measuring from tab to cut edge. For I, tab is not included in your measurement, so you would cut from straight edge to straight edge. Tab is a bonus. For I1, no tabs, all right, straight edges. For J, tab is not included in the measurement, okay? For J1, no tab, straight cuts. J2, no tab, straight cuts. J3, no tab, straight cuts. J4, tab is not included in the measurement. The tab is a bonus, okay? There you have it, guys. I inked around everything. It's important that you ink, all right? If you're using a dark color, you don't have to worry about inking. If you're using the manila folders, ink, 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 ink. I use the yellow fossilized amber, which is my new obsession. Okay, now I want you to grab the pieces that have gussets, okay, and that should be C, D, G, and I think that's it. Yes, and G. These gusseted pieces. You're going to ink this as you want, as you wish. You ink them. Okay, this is very important. Then one of two things have to happen. You either are going to mat in your gussets, okay, mat in your gusset, both sides, or you can do a stencil. And I'm going to do a stencil, and I'm going to do an easy peasy one so that I don't have to think too much. If I can find it. Here it is. All right. So I'm going to do this easy peasy polka dot stencil. And you can use whatever color you want. I was thinking of going with a blue because there's a lot of midnight blue in the collection. So I was thinking of going with the like a navy blue in the collection. There's red, there's navy blue, there's purple. You can use whatever colors you want, but I'm thinking of a dark color. It's going to look black. You know what? I'm going to use green. Okay, I'm going to use green because that would look pretty too. Let me grab my green. Sorry for not being prepared with this ink color. I completely forgot about this part, the ink color. So I'm going to use the Mowed Lawn for this. Okay, so you got an ink. Use a stencil in the gusset if you want, or you can use pattern paper. I'm going to, excuse me. I'm going to use my stencil. It'll just be so much easier for me. Okay, so let me grab my green brush. I took my brushes out of my way, so I'm, so they're not easily accessible. So I can just simply, I won't be able to grab just anything, guys, which is my biggest problem. All right, so I got a good place where I want my green to be. So you want a stencil. All right, and just do whatever makes you happy, okay? Whatever makes you happy, do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. See that? It's just so this giant gusset has something pretty for you to look at, okay? Because it's pretty big, the gusset, but we need it in order for this to work. I don't know why I didn't do that all the way to the bottom, but that's okay for this one. Now, once that dries, oh gosh, I gotta be neater. Once that dries, you have to let it dry, okay? And too bad I didn't prepare one. So let me do one more while that is drying, okay? All right, so I'm stenciling, doing my jam. Do whatever you want. Again, pattern paper is also good. Pattern paper will give you a little more stability, okay, in that gusset. But we're doing one more thing, so I think you guys will be fine with stability-wise. All right, so remember, you got to let it dry. It's important that you let it dry, guys. I can't stress that enough. All right, so let's get this done. And I want to do this now because then I won't be able to assemble my project during the class. So that's why I want you guys to be prepared. Uh-oh, I went too low on that one, but that's okay. I'll go back in and get myself another row right there. All right, that's good. Oh my gosh, how do I miss all these spots? Okay, perfect. So now, once this is dry, and I'm going to do all of mine, but I'll do that later. You want to get either Scotch tape. Gosh, I hope there's enough Scotch tape on this roll. I've been using this. You want to get Scotch tape or packing tape, depending on how big your gusset is. Let's do the big one because the big one, Scotch tape will not work for the big one. All right, but you have to make sure that it's dry. I'm just going to use the big one for everything. We need to reinforce this gusset, the edges, because it's going to tear. All right, this is really important. So for this first one, you do not want any tape overhang. Okay, so cut the tape right on the edge or a little over the, slightly over the edge. Not over, sorry, inside the edge. And work in a place where this is not going to happen. Work where that's not going to happen. Okay. All right, so now you want to burnish this really, really well. Burnish, burnish, burnish. And the reason why I want the ink to be dry is so that the tape sticks everywhere. If the ink is wet, the tape is not going to stick. I got a little bit of tape, extra tape there. Don't need that. Nothing hanging over on this first one. When you flip it over, let's work on something that's not going to stick, because it'll just be easier for me to do that than to deal with all of this jazz, right? All right, guys. Let's get a non-stick surface here. So now I'm on the other side that has no tape. Okay, you don't want to go all the way to the end. It's unnecessary, but you want to go over the edge. Okay, over the edge. Burnish. And I'm literally just worried about the gusset. Okay, I'm not worried about anything else. This just packing tape is the only one I have. I would get a more narrow packing tape if I could, right now, but I don't have it. So now you want to just cut it about 1 inch away, right? And then you want to wrap it really nice and tight around the edge. Really nice and tight around the edge. You want the tape to end on the inside so you don't see the raw edges of the tape when you mat. That's it, guys. Now you fold on your score lines. And you're good to go. Okay? Now you know that this big old gusset we have here is not going to tear. I mean, it's not bulletproof, obviously, but it's a lot better than just having nothing. Okay? So again, you either stencil, you got to ink. If you're using a light paper, you use stencil or pattern paper, then you put the tape. Let's do one more. This one should be good. All right, so you want to get a length of tape, and it doesn't matter if it's, you know, the fold is on the in or the outside. Doesn't matter, guys. Okay, so we've got this one. So you want this one not to be hanging over. The first one should not be hanging over. You want to burnish, because packing tape tends to give you bubbles. You don't need any bubbles. Then the one that's on this side, make sure your surface is nice and clean so you don't get any schmutz on your tape. And now find your little tape thingy. Oh, I hate when that happens. I know you can fold it over, but, you know, I don't like anything easy, apparently. I'm not going to use that torn piece. Oh, shoot, and it keeps on tearing. Why is that happening? Okay, good. Let me cut that off. Wow, that was weird. Normally it just stops when you stop. But it kept on tearing. All right, so now you're on the other side, right? And you want overhang. You want to go past those folds. Burnish. Ideally, you don't want anything sticking up, no creases, no nothing. Now cut slightly, at least 1 inch past the edge on both sides. And then wrap it around nice and tight around the edge. Burnish and burnish. Okay, and you want to do this for cardstock and or file folder. It doesn't matter what you're using. Okay, you can use Tyvek if you want. However, I only have black or white, and I don't want that, so that's why I went with the masking tape. Okay, with the shipping tape. Okay, now just carefully fold on your creases, and you have to pay attention to that because it'll want to fold somewhere else because the tape just gave it a whole new gave it all sorts of stability. So now we have that fabulous. My stenciling there was absolutely crap. Let's look at this side. Now we have this wonderful reinforced fold, and we don't have to worry about this tearing. All right, and I'll get this one done on my own. So make sure that you follow all these steps, and I'll link you down below.